All right, welcome back for round two. See if we can do a little bit better. No Bazaar, be a mulligan. As Bazaar, this will be a keep. Uh, let's assume the second Mind Break Trap is not going to be good under those circumstances. So we're probably facing a pseudo mirror or maybe even mirror of some kind. That's spell 2, I don't get to stop that. I think I need to Mind Break Trap that. I now desperately wish I had the second Mind Break Trap in my hand. Oh god, is there more? Alright. That's a nuisance. I have a black card to pitch to Contagion. There's one. How do I play this? Do I just Wasteland the Strip Mine, go to their turn, Contagion the Deathrite Shaman, and then hope that I have the better hand because I still have Bazaar? They might not have a Bazaar. I think so. Oh, this is very good for me. I have an opening. Now my opponent can probably draw out of that, but we're coming back from the Lotus on the play start. See if we can make it work. All right. 1, 2, 3. All right. Always yes, always yes. This is also just very nice insurance. All right. 1, 2, 3. Madness. Cast. Land. Turns Bloodghast. Then I'll crash in for 1. I have Force of Will backup for the first thing that my opponent does that looks at all scary. That would be that. That would be the thing that looks scary. I think I let that hit play. Yeah, so that I can counter a hollow one if that's a follow-up. Maybe I should have saved that for the Hogaak. Shoot. The hollow one was the 5th card in the graveyard needed for that. That was probably a misstep. Do have a Caracas I can dig towards. Right, I thought I said always yes. I guess the Bloodghast attack is free. I'm going to play a land. This can't block anyway. Oh, I can actually just like potentially just kill Hogaak in combat, right? Triple block it. 3, 6. No, I only have 7 power. Things get sort of interesting if my opponent tries to swing out. Yeah, I should have countered this Hogaak and let the hollow one resolve. Miscounting the graveyard there is rough. His opponent having another Bazaar. Like if my opponent just has a hollow one, and I have a whole bunch of like small lizards that can get larger because of Gaia's Cradle, I'm in a way better position. Although I guess this Bazaar means that they just end up recasting the Hogaak. Yeah, that probably doesn't mean good things for me long term. Yep. Yikes. Alright, now I can remove a Hogaak from play, but my opponent can just recast it by activating Bazaar. I'm on the metaphorical ropes here. If they were to attack out, or attack in a way, like attack with a Vengevine, would I do something about that then? Alright. Show me that you know how to recast Hogaak. They have figured it out. Alright, it is really annoying that every time that goes to the graveyard, it like forgets that I've already yielded to that trigger already. Okay. The creature card directly above it. So does that mean I go 1, 2, 3? Yes. Opponent did not activate their Bazaar in this turn cycle, so they have something in their hand that they like. They might have like... No, it wouldn't be Force of Vigor plus green card, because then they would have just removed my hollow one. They must have something they like, because they didn't just activate for the sake of refilling their graveyard for recasting Hogaak. Oh, wow. That is going to beat me. I think I'm gonna go ahead and concede there. I'm at exactly 10 life, so those are hasty, and that is just going to end up pushing a lot of damage over the course of the rest of this game. I don't think I'm going to come back from that. Okay, I would like Leyline of the Void. Would like another Caracas. And I will probably play these lands. I'm not sure about Force of Vigor. I think I'll keep Misstep. I think I'll go Force of Negations out. I think I'll go Mind Break Traps out. And think about Force of Vigor. My blue count sucks. Yeah. Maybe let's play some Sickening Shoals and some Force of Vigors. Board a Library out for another Force. I'm not sure if I want the 4th over some other land. Opponent has Strip Mines and Wastelands, so having some stuff that can produce mana is fine. I don't need that much mana, though. Try 3 Force of Vigors. If I learn that my opponent is on a build that has Leyline, I'll play the 4th Force of Vigor, and if I learn they're on Surgical, I'll probably stay on 3. Alright, so I guess I powder this hand. I keep this hand. I think I just put 1 Leyline into play, not 2. There's 2 Assassin's Trophies to think about, but there's 4 Force of Vigors, and the difference between 1 and 2 Leylines is nothing there, whereas 1 more card with Bazaar might be meaningful. Maybe that's not true. Like, the Assassin's Trophies are definitely coming in. Yeah, maybe I do still Leyline twice. I have Squee to recoup card advantage to start with anyway. That's actually really interesting. Try one. Junk. We, Serum Powder, and the other ley line. We do have the Ur Dragon, which can pitch to Force of Vigor. So we're ready. The exact situation for why we didn't play Prized Amalgam, oddly enough. Yet. My hand does nothing. Hopefully their hand also does nothing. Hmm. I think I'm gonna play my guy as Cradle and Pass. I don't necessarily want to miss land drops, but I also don't necessarily want to show Wasteland or Caracas yet. Yep, okay. There's why we only played one Leyline. There's why we didn't show Wasteland. Oh, that's actually pretty good. Like, play another hollow one. I think I just need to remove that for free here. The thing about the current situation, though, is that it very much favors my opponent, because my opponent can just go like Bayou Deathrite Shaman, Bayou Stitcher Supplier, and start casting their things, and I can't. I really need to find a Bazaar or a Petrified Field or a Noxious Revival or something of that nature, or I'm not really doing anything. I'm not going to show that. Okay, we're in business. All right, with one above, right? Yeah. We go, yeah, yeah, yeah. Opponent is pausing here. Do they have surgical? All right, they're gonna surgical my squeeze. That's actually kind of daggers, right? Because that also means I don't get the Krivik and Horror back. It also means that they get to know about my Caracas. Also, think about my sideboarding a little bit more. Force of Vigor, just getting Hollow One is probably good enough that it's as good as Contagion or whatever the other black pitch card is called. Alright, so I'd like to discard a creature. Yes. Yeah. 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 Now I don't want to play this land so that I can return this. I want to get my engine going. Sickening Shoal, that's the other one. Okay. Let's dump maybe a leyline. Leyline. I don't know that I need to convert this into a different card later. No, the third one should have been Kravikan Horror. I guess I can just discard it next turn. That's fine. With the Blood Gas coming back, the guy's Cradle is on. Maybe I could have kept once. Alright, let's junk Contagion, Kravikan Horror, Reaper King. I'll attack with this Bloodghast. Cast this. Cast this. Return that to my hand. And now we can kill something that's a 4/4 or less for free. Alright, what did opponent hit? Relatively speaking, nothing. So no timing restriction, right? It does not. Crash in. Do I let them chump block? I might not let them chump block. There's a world where I just pitch Kravikan Horror right now. Let them put cards in their graveyard, strip mine them, then activate Bazaar after all of that. I kind of like that, just like try to slam the door on the game. Try to slam the door on the game. Now my opponent needs to generate 2 blockers or they're dead. That's a draw that can do it. Okay, cool. So let's get this other Force of Vigor in here over something else. I think I like Mental Misstep too much for it to be that. It'd just be a Once Upon a Time. I don't know that I want to gamble on keeping an opening hand based on a Once Upon a Time in a deck where if I don't have Bazaar, I don't do anything. That seems fine to me. Opponent's pausing here, so that might mean that they're adjusting their own sideboard plans a bit. My impressions so far with this deck are that it isn't nearly as good as Hogaak Vine because you can't just like cast spells fairly. you're really relying on Bazaar. And if your Bazaar gets wasted or strip mined, it's very awkward and you often just like can't do anything. I don't like the fact that I don't have the ability to just wiggle out more. Like a lot of times with Hogaak Vine, you can activate once and then you can ride your initial power, do some early pressure, and then try to finish things off with like blood gas and suicide attacks where you're throwing away creatures. And here, when my Bazaar's gone, I don't have that same ability to just grind out by casting some things like Stitcher's Suppliers and like Deathrite Shaman training and that sort of stuff. We'll see though. The league is young. We also might have a few matches where like I'm sitting on 13 counter spells and my opponent's playing PO and can't answer my Bazaar. And then it would feel very different. So this hand has no ability to do anything other than put a ley line in play. I will gladly mulligan this hand. Same. Alright. I'm gonna keep this. That is going back. And then it gets really interesting for what I do. Force of Vigor hedges against Hollow One specifically. But since I have my own Hollow One, I think I'm going to plan to deal with Hollow One in combat. I think I would rather have all these other lands. Well, my opponent didn't snap click on Bazaar, so might be good for me. Yeah, strip mine. Okay. All right. Opponent is going to be in for a rude awakening when I just petrified field my Bazaar back. Well, it's junk. We Bloodgast, and I think Leyline, even though it pitches to Contagion. Opponent was also F6'd there, I believe, so they don't have Force of Vigor. This is all kind of going as planned. Bloodgast isn't going to be hasty, so I don't think I need to pull the trigger on that yet. Please surgical the blood gas and let me have my Bazaar back. I'm good with that. Since I have a second petrified field, I think I'm supposed to try for this here. My opponent does have the surgical. This obviously sucks. But it's not like the colorless mana is doing me any good, right? Yep. So now the plan will be wasteland this bayou and try to get there with my one hollow one that is currently in play. Using Contagion, Sickening Shoal, Force of Vigor to push damage. I don't know what the contents of my opponent's hand are. I am somewhat surprised that they didn't pay mana for that surgical extraction, given that I have 6 power on board. See how bad this turn is. Hogaak in yard. Alright, I'm dead. So they get hollow one, Hogaak. I would have to rip Hotter Than the Sun to beat that. Yeah, that looks like a better turn. Well, Contagion would have been good, but I think I'm just dead here. All right. GG's, opponent. GG's.